welcome to that Trademark Life podcast. Today I have Caitlyn Gallagher with me.
Hello. So happy to be here, Mel.
I'm so happy that you said yes. You are one of my favoriteest people ever.
Thank you.
And when I said I was starting up the podcast, the first person I thought of was you.
Well, honestly, I was waiting for the invite. I'm glad you started
You're
it
like
up again.
3 seasons too late,
Yeah.
but she finally asked.
Yes, I do remember saying, hey, I would love to be on the podcast. And now here we are. So
I just had to change it a little bit. So new name, new season, new guests.
let's do it.
So let's have a little quick intro on who is Caitlyn Gallagher and how did you get into real estate?
Okay, well, first and foremost, I'm a mama of 2, and I got into real estate in 2007. Not
Me
as a
too.
realtor. Not as a realtor, though.
Oh, okay.
So it was the first job that I got out of high school, and I actually took a full-time position in title insurance, but I had no idea what that was at the time.
Out of high school?
Right out of high school, girl. I did not do any additional schooling or anything. I didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up, and I just knew that I wanted to have an office job. So I got this job as a title insurance officer, and if you know, you know, right? Like title insurance is a major...
It's a mystery.
It is. Nobody knows what it actually is.
What is title insurance? If you know, call us. Caitlyn probably knows. She was in it. She was an officer.
I mean, I had the title, but I still couldn't explain to you what my actual job was. But I spent all my days preparing mortgages for the 5 big banks, and then they would send them out to the branch to get signed by the clients, and then they would come back and we would register them at land titles. So that was my first little dabble in financing, land titles, real estate, and I just loved it. So I had a baby, I took some time off, and then I ended up going back to work at a law firm. And I quickly...
You are a boss, babe.
Thank you.
Those are not easy jobs. No retail.
No customer service in that aspect. But so I started as the part-time receptionist, and then the lawyers and the partners kind of just saw a little bit of fire in me. And I worked my way up to being the full-on real estate paralegal of a firm of I think there was 17 lawyers at the time.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I was also managing the firm and doing some other stuff in the criminal law areas. But that's kind of where I found my passion, I think, for real estate. And I think my biggest thing at the time was just realtors would call and they wouldn't say are the keys releasable? They would say, is my commission check ready to be picked up? And it just
oh boy.
Yeah, that rubbed me the wrong way. I'm like, man, these people are doing some big things. They're spending a lot of money. And I also could see that some of them were doing this out of necessity, right? It's I'm selling my mom's house who died. I'm going through a divorce and this is hard for me. And so I guess from that aspect, I really just learned I want to be a realtor so that I can do the job better and really serve these people as opposed to worrying about a paycheck, right? And I mean, of course, real estate is a really lucrative business to be in, so there was that too. But after I left the law firm, I had a really good mentor who basically encouraged me to get my license. She was a realtor too. I was working hands-on with her on her files, and she just said, you are really good at this, and I would encourage you to get your license. And so I took a leap, actually having no idea what I wanted. I was I don't really want to be a realtor, but if you think that it'll make me better at the job that I'm doing for you, sure. And I just kind of am naturally good at it, and I really love it. And so from there, I just never really looked back. I love it, doing it so much. I love serving my clients. I love selling houses and, supporting people through some major life transitions.
Well, that's amazing.
Thank you.
Okay, goosebumps. So you and I partnered together on a little project this year.
It's been so fun.
So why don't you share,
what are we doing? Okay. So, you and I think we've always been just about collaboration and supporting other women in the industry. And I think we both can recognize that it's a hard industry to be in, especially as a working mom. We don't often get the opportunity to connect with other agents. We're all working in our own little corners and we're doing our own little thing. And so you and I sat down and we were like, hey, how do we bridge the gap between female agents in our industry, and how do we, create that connection and collaboration within an otherwise very competitive industry? So we had a very intentional lunch, and
I still remember it.
Yeah.
And it was, I think people think that we just picked our favorite people.
No.
And that's like not true at all.
No, like we sat and we were like, okay, who have we done deals with that we learned something through that process, or that just responded really well or gave us inspiration in some way, or who do we enjoy following on social media?
Who's intimidating?
Yeah.
And we shouldn't be intimidated by them.
Yes.
You know,
So-
that was Deb Duncan. For me, I thought like, I just like held her on such a pedestal, and it was like, I thought she was just so good at what she does and like together.
Yes.
And then I was like, you know what? I want to get to know her. So she's in our group and a future guest on the podcast, but like, you know, kind of step outside our comfort zones.
It would have been great. I mean, to create a group, but what would be the point of that if we were just filling it with people that we already had connections with?
For sure.
I think the intention was really to step outside our own comfort zone and get to know people that we didn't know yet, or that we definitely felt like we could learn from, or I guess in the sense of bridging the gap. The whole idea was like, we've got agents that are in this industry that have been doing this for 15, 20 years, and it's hard to be a new agent. So to be able to provide a space for like to bridge that gap.
Bridging the gap.
Yeah. And so that's the group name, Bridging the Gap. And we meet once a month.
Yep.
And we just have the most fun together.
So fun. And I do want to encourage people that it is not something that they can't do themselves. Like, like we haven't like trademarked this. We haven't said like nobody else can do it. So if people are feeling like they want to connect with other realtors, and they're lonely, or there's people that they would love to get to know, like we encourage you to do the same.
Let our group be an inspiration for you.
We will help.
Yeah, mimic the exact same thing that we did, and really sit and think about who do you feel like you could learn from, who do you value as a colleague in the industry, and just carve out that space to do it. And not everybody can show up all the time, and that's why we have.
But we have a really good turnout.
We do.
Like people are mad when they can't come.
Yeah, because it's so fun. Honestly, like we talk about work, we talk about the challenges that we face, we talk about what it's like, you know, to the delicate balance between work and life, and how sometimes we don't even have a balance.
What is the balance?
What is that?
We did self-defense.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
I feel like our group is just like pushing everybody to grow a little bit, and I love that.
We have an amazing group. So if you are out there and you are lonely, it doesn't have to be real estate. It can be anything in general. In your collaboration within your, people always see us as competitors. And we are, in a way. We are.
Only to a certain extent,
but
though.
There's a lot of room for all of us.
Yeah.
And we can cheer him on. And if you're doing good, I'm doing good.
Your success doesn't take away from mine.
I
think
like that.
Your success is an
Nicole,
indication.
you better write that down. Are you taking notes?
Your success is an indication that I can also be successful, right?
Just
because you're doing something doesn't mean that I can't jump in and be successful at it too. I think there's a seat for everybody at the table.
I agree.
Yeah. And I think that we've really proven that through this group.
I love our group. I love you.
I love you.
So let's talk about one of your favorite topics, I'd call it, real estate as a wealth building tool.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, I love money and money loves me.
I need that mentality because when I follow you like on Instagram, but in real life we are friends, but on Instagram you always like put out these things of like manifestation and have it work for you, and I'm always like, man, you truly believe it.
Oh, well, I manifested my podcast episode today, didn't I? It's been 3 years in the making.
That's a manifestation.
But so I mean, I think for me, I do recognize real estate as a wealth building tool because it's a lucrative business to be in, not only as an agent, but as an end consumer. If you start investing in real estate, you can make a lot of money if you know what to do. And here's the thing. I didn't know anything when I started either, but I'll tell you my own personal equity story. In 2022, I purchased a duplex, and I have a lovely fiance who's a pretty handy guy. So we set out to finish the basement and just add a little bit more room. It was always going to be a revenue property for us. So we finished the basement. We put about $25,000 into it, and we just sold the property less than 2 years later for a $75,000 profit.
Amazing.
Yeah. And the reason I tell that story is because I could have kept trying to save up to buy something that would have instantly had a bigger, cash return on my investment in terms of like monthly cash flow from rent or something like that. But I think that my advice is like, you got to jump even before you're ready. Like there are so many things that come up in these transactions that we're dealing with, and it feels really scary. But there's no way in the world that I would have been able to save $75,000 in 2 years. And so I look at that and I think like real estate made me that. So, you don't wait, as they say, you don't wait to buy real estate. You buy real estate and wait for it to appreciate. And so that's I think that's my biggest piece of advice to anybody. Like if you're on the fence, just jump, even when it's scary.
Was there certain things you were looking for in your property? Like, did you have must-haves?
You know what? Not really. Like I obviously was thinking about revenue and how I could cash flow them and just make sure that this was going to be something that would be lucrative and a good business decision for me. But also I think just with the climate that we're in right now, I think about my kids. I have a 13-year-old and a 7-year-old. And with the way that prices are going right now, I legitimately am concerned as to whether or not they'll ever be able to afford their own home. So part of my process and my reasoning behind that too was like, well, at the very least, I'll have something to pass on to them because it is a legitimate concern of mine.
So what are you going to do with your equity that you made? Are you going to buy something else?
Yeah, we are. I think that I really want to flip a house. Like I really, really want to flip a house. I enjoy designing. I have a renovation partner as well that I do like major custom renovations with. And I've really in the last year found a lot of joy in doing that.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So
I love it.
Yeah. So I think we'll take that money and we'll buy another one and see if we
Put
can
it back
make
in.
some more. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The real estate ladder. My grandma said to me once when we were first getting in to never get comfortable in real estate.
No.
And it was like, it stuck with me. Like she said that to us when we were 19 and we bought our first home and it was $100,000. And she said, like, this is not your forever home and don't ever think of something as your forever home. We have an acreage now. I would say that is my forever home, but we're always looking at different ways, different things that we can do in real estate to keep going. 'Cause that's, invest in what you're passionate about and the money will be there.
100%. I agree.
We know real estate.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like you're going to learn things along the way and maybe you'll make bad decisions sometimes. But I think if you frame your mindset to look at everything as a learning opportunity, then you just simply build on the last one and you do things better for the next time.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk mindset.
Let's do. This is my favorite subject.
This is like you. This is Caitlyn in like a topic.
Yes.
Mindset. Take it away.
Well, so my big thing is, as I said earlier, I really recognized when I was working at the law firm, like how affected by real estate transactions people can be. And it's things like I mentioned, you're going through a divorce sometimes and you have to sell the house you thought would be yours forever, and that, not only that, but there's a lot of other things that you're going through at the same time as trying to sell your house when you're in the middle of a divorce. And then things like, selling the family home that you've lived in forever. It's your family home. It's never belonged to someone else. So letting go of that comes with a lot of emotional ties. First-time home buyers, it's friggin' scary. Like, I hear you. It is hella scary to buy a home for the first time. And I really focus my energy on asking my clients what they need from me beyond the point of this sale, right? And I can almost walk into a room every single time and well, I'm highly intuitive that way.
But very intuitive.
I can tell when
Scary intuitive.
Yeah, and I can tell when someone's experiencing fear or some type of energetic resistance to what we're trying to accomplish. And I have like a myriad of stories about this, but I just want to give an example. I tend to take on clients who have not had success with other agents. And it's not to say that the other agents were at fault. I think that there's just something about the way that I speak and the perspective that I offer to people that gets them to think differently. And that's the mindset work that I do, right? So, for example, I had this property on Argyle Street in Cathedral. It had been listed on and off the market 5 years with 3 different agents. And I remember walking in, and the first thing that I said to those clients was, what is your goal when this house sells? What are you doing after this? And they said to me, we're going to move to Halifax. And I said, okay, can I tell you what to do aside from the house? And they said, yeah. And I said, move to Halifax. Because I really believe that when you tell the universe, I'm really ready for this, and you make a big move, the universe will show up to support you in that. And so my clients trusted me. Yeah, they did. They trusted me, and they did. They packed up their belongings, they quit their jobs, and they organized a move to Halifax. When the house had been on the market for about 30 days, I think, at that point. And they were gone. They left. They left their house behind, and they trusted what I said. And we sold that house. That no one else could sell. I think it was within 2 months for sure.
Really?
Yeah. And so we see that. And I mean, I just had a deal fall through this morning too. Why? Because my clients were I'm on the seller side, and my clients were texting me every day. I hope there's nothing on the home inspection. I tried to do this, and I cleaned this up, and I did the best I could.
You think they put it out to the universe?
100% they did. 100% they did.
You're like, stop saying this stuff.
Yes. And so, like, I know it sounds silly, but, like, I will, like, when I hear my clients speak some outlandish thing that I don't want to happen, and I know they don't want to happen either, I'm like, cancel that. I'll, like, throw up the X's, and I'm like, cancel.
Put some sage around.
Yeah, do not say those things, right? Like, your words matter. You are magic. And so if you don't believe that I can do what you've hired me to do, I will not be able to do it. And that's why the first thing I do when I meet with any client, I just call out the elephant in the room. What is the problem here? What do you think the energetic resistance is? Because the moment you start talking and you start trashing your house to me, there it is. I found it. I need you to be grateful for everything your house has done for you up until this point, not be hard on it. I need, like, those things matter.
They hang there.
They do. That is energy at work. Everything is energy. And so when people are experiencing those things, those what I call resistance, it's like, I'm just going to call you out for what it is, because at that point, once I pitch it back to you and you realize what you're doing, now we can work through it. Yeah.
Therapy.
Yeah, it kind of
like
is.
It literally is house therapy.
Yeah, it is. And that's why I said, like, I get a lot of clients who are going through those. I don't get easy deals, quote unquote, like
they find you.
They do. My clients are the people who need that skill set that I have. And it is mentally taxing sometimes, but it's where I feel the most lit up.
Do you walk into houses and know right away if something's like weird or off? Do you have those like spidey senses?
Yeah. Or I can just tell, like, for example, if I'm out with a buyer and just by the things that they say or how they're acting, like, I can tell, like, oh, they're scared to pull the trigger. And I actually did also have, I remember the one, I had a client, and he had been searching with me for about a year or so. He was a single guy, and there was just nothing that was really piquing his interest at the time. And so we kind of, went our separate ways, and he decided he was going to continue renting. And about a year later, he came back to me, and this time he had a girlfriend, and his girlfriend was pregnant. And so he goes to me like, this isn't a game anymore. I have to do this now. Like, I'm the man of the house, I got to provide for my family. So let's do this. Let's find this house. So I had taken them to probably 15 to 20 properties, and I was personally getting frustrated because, and I think actually, now that I think about it, this is probably when I honed my skill set, because I remember calling him out in a vacant listing. We were sitting on the carpet in the basement because there was nothing else in the house. And I just said to him, like, what's your deal? Because I've shown you so many houses that check every single box you've asked me for, and you're not doing it.
Yeah.
So, like, let me in. I want to know what's going on in your head. And you know what he said to me, and I will never forget this, and I think this is when I really realized the true impact of my job. He said to me, Caitlyn, I don't know what home is.
Oh my gosh.
I know, I could cry. Oh my gosh. I could cry, right? And he goes, hey, I don't know what home is. I moved around a lot as a child. I didn't have a present father. And I'm scared as hell that now I have to be the present father and provide a safe home to my family. And I'm scared that I'm not going to be able to do it. So when I say that I'm here to support you, like, that's what I mean. Because I believe in you. I know that you can do it. I know that you have what it takes. And I want to help you work through the part of you that is self-sabotaging and getting in your own way. So I've had, since that time, numerous men say that to me. And, you don't think it because they don't show it on the outside.
Yeah.
Until someone pokes and prods a little bit, and that's all. And usually it's like every time we clear that air.
And they find something?
Yeah.
Did he buy the house that he was sitting in?
No, but we closed on something probably like a week later.
Amazing.
Yeah. So it's just one of those things where I feel like real estate involves like a lot of topics that we don't like to talk about. We have to talk about money and confront those things head on. And not everybody is good with money or had a good past with money or comes from money or feels confident in their relationship with money. So that's a big thing that comes up. Because this is the most money you're ever going to spend.
Ever.
And then, you know, we got to talk about those emotions that creep in and sometimes get in the way. And then, of course, it's your mindset and what you believe to be true about the world around you and about yourself and your own capabilities. So I always say that selling houses is a byproduct of the work that I really do because I just really care about my clients and I want them to leave not only having sold or purchased their home, but like feeling like they're on a better path to being the best version of themselves.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, that is amazing. I absolutely love it. What do you see next for Caitlyn Gallagher in real estate? Flipping.
Yes. Like I really, that is it's been on my radar for about a year now. And to be perfectly honest, before I came here yesterday morning, I had a little chit chat with the guy upstairs and I was just like, you know, put something on my path. Like everything I do in life is intentional. That's my team name, Intentional Real Estate, because I put a lot of thought into everything that I do. And so when I need guidance with something, I ask for it. It's not just me and my human mind making these decisions. And so, I asked the universe yesterday, like, this is what I want to do. I want to flip a house. Put it in my path. The one that is right for me, I trust. When I see it, I will know. And so
do you have criteria? Is there like something that you're looking for? You just literally like an open book?
I am pretty open-minded at this point. I mean, obviously, I want to be able to put my own personal flair on things.
You're a mid-century modern girl.
I am, yeah. So you will never see me strip the character out of a home.
You won't have painted shiplap in there?
No, God, no. No, I mean, that would.
She's not getting a shiplap queen sweater as her parting gift.
Sorry. Can we come up with a clever play on words about wood? Because there'll be a lot of wood.
There'll be a lot of wood in there.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
Yeah, so I mean, if I could find something in that era, I love the 60s and 70s, so I would absolutely love to preserve a character home, but just make it modern with amenities and make it awesome. So we'll see.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge. You are one of my favorite people, and I'm so glad that you said yes to coming on and kicking off the new season.
I'm so glad I could do it. Well, I'm honored to be your first guest and with the new little name change here. So thank you.
Yes.
It's been wonderful.
Thank you for coming.